man with his earthy hands, his worn leather apron, a face that makes me think that that man has a sense of his own origin.
There was hardly any vehicles at Haymarket, and the streets used to be lined with horse and carts.
The florists, they used to wait outside the gates. You'd be yelling out, I want this, I want that. And they'd open the gates, 7 o'clock, they'd open the
good old days, 7 o'clock.
And they just rush in.
Standing at the cyclone wire gates, ready for the guards or the attendants to unlock. Everybody raced in to grab as much as they could because flowers was very scarce and very seasonal.
When the door opened, the whole group of people rushed up to buy some of these roses. And Rosie came in there and dived in there and she said, they're all mine!
We used to come in here with a truck and park inside of the market, but it's barely space to walk in.
The growers backed their trucks up and they sold off the back of the truck and off the concrete bench.
Even in the Depression, people always bought a box of chocolates or some flowers.
A bunch of daisies, yeah. I remember one year we picked up, me and another guy picked up 4 ton of gladioli bulbs at the railway. And there were no forklifts. Oh, boy.
No forklift in the old market, no forklift there.
All the
barrows.
old barrows.
Wheelbarrows.
I started in the old market before I was going to school. And that's quite a number of years ago. Well over 50 years, heading towards 60 years in the market, longer than 60 years.
My first experience with the market goes back to 1944, 45.
I left school in 1953 and I went straight onto the farm.
Since 1954.
I think I started in 58.
Here, 1958 in Australia.
1960.
1961.
From 1969.
1971.
Say 45 years ago when that was there.
I got involved at a very, very early age when my father had flower farms then, took me out to the flower farms. He used to take me out on school holidays when I was out there picking flowers in my school holidays. 15 or 16 I was, he said, you become a grower, I became a grower. My brother and I were partners at the time. My brother was selling the flowers, I was growing the flowers, I was coming in the market, helping him selling them on a Friday, which was the biggest day.
Coming to Australia, lucky to get here now. It's a very nice country.
I started with cabbage, cauliflowers and lettuce and vegetable.
We grew fruit then. Vegetables in the beginning.
Passion fruit, tomatoes, and we had poultry as well.
And then I went on to vegetables.
Changed it because I can see the carnation was much easier for my back.
I started with the flowers because vegetables wasn't too heavy for me. We were probably one of the biggest carrot growers in Sydney at the time. Ground tomatoes at Middle Jurula, and a beautiful crop of first year, but the weather wasn't so nice with me. One morning, frost coming here, 6 below zero, all my tomato becoming a ball of ice. Totally, total destruction.
Marigolds, we're talking, which is Stinking Rogers. Marigolds, dahlias were a very big line. Marigolds, daisies were a very big line. Old-fashioned gypsophila was a big line.
Sydney produces some of the finest flowers in Australia, and we have the finest range of flowers.
Roses for 25 years, and then I changed to standard roses in pots.
Yeah, then I went in and worked as a bodybuilder, doing truck bodies.
But my father before me, they grew everything under the sun. We had 600 eucalyptus centaurea trees that were growing for gum.
At the same time, I was always interested in growing flowers. I always had my little plot of flowers.
Pick a bit of green, and I was going to school. I had no money for pocket money. I used to get 20 bunches for 6p a bunch, and I used to have 10 bob.
I had a little plot. I had dahlias, only small plot, and I had a variety of gladioli. Carnation, chrysanthemum, got hydrangea, dahlias, and sweet peas.
We started with sweet peas, and we progressed to carnation.
Roses, carnations and spray carnations.
Mainly carnations and stock and gladiolus.
Then I'd pick any wild rose found around the farm or from the garden. I'd send them to market, and I used to get about 20 cents a bunch then.
My introduction to the flower industry was through my father. He started about 1939. He had a small farm out at Plumpton near Blacktown. He decided to grow commercial gladioli out of season.
I got talked into buying a few plants of roses through one of the local rose growers. He had 400 plants of roses, and they were all seconds. They said, "You plant them?" I said, "I'll give them to you for 20 cents a plant." So I took them and grew them, planted them, and then I formed a company, Dumont Rose Gardens.
My father's flowers, we used to grow them. Victoria, how are you? Nice to see you. Come here. You go on the television. Matricaria, Chester Days, Daisies, Stock, Easter Days, Gladys, Carnations, Pixies, everything.
And I was running two separate operations in here for quite a while. The Flower Traders business had 12 franchise florist shops tied to it. So between the two of them, they were a pretty significant business, but they were taking a lot of time.
So I got 1,000 mini roses. 1,000 wasn't not enough. I put 3,000, it wasn't not enough. Until I got about 10,000 plants of mini roses. Picking my sons and me and all that. Then we stopped that because we cannot control the red spider, you know, and the mildew, black spot. You know, the humidity inside the glue was enormous.
I started coming in with a lot of natives, and it was very hard in the early days.
When the carnations were really getting plentiful, it was hard to sell carnations. But I had roses, and I was delivering my flowers, carnations and roses to my florists. They wanted roses, but not the carnations. I said, well, if you don't buy my roses, you don't get carnations. And it worked very well.
Well, going back in the 50s and 60s, there were no imported flowers.
We finished up getting a property at Colnura, driving from Somersby to the flower market, which was a small section at Ultimo of the vegetable market. Now, I remember once I bought a heap of these little violets bunched, and she wanted 3 dozen of them. So I took them in and I said, Rosie, I'm sorry, but I didn't look properly, but what they've given me is absolute rubbish. They're already nearly half dead. Oh, she said, it'll be all right. Anyway, saw her the next week, and she had another order for the violets again. I thought she would have lost money on it. Oh, she said, no, it wasn't a problem. She said, I sold them all at night.
In the early days, you had to have flowers. You didn't have all this extra stuff with it. Yeah, they sell stuff here you wouldn't think we used to throw it out. People buy dead branches and put it in arrangements where that wasn't around when we were doing it, when he was doing it. People just bought flowers, didn't they?
It's always a challenge because everything is against you. If it's not the rain, it's hail. You know, hail can in 5 minutes can wipe you out for the year.
The carnation was a very big thing in the old days. A lot of growers, when we talk about a carnation castle, there's a person who grew carnations and they did very, very well.
I used to grow 100,000 plants, and we used to grow 2 crops. Every second year we used to change them.
They were entrepreneurs. They would take a chance on selling a truckload of flour, right?
Tony Papala would come in and first thing he'd do would comb his hair. A good looking bloke, wasn't he? He was only a young bloke, and he'd comb his hair and the women loved him.
Ready? Ready to sing a song for you? Okay. This song's called La Solitudine. Non so mai perché ti dico sempre sì, testarda sono io più di così.
Characters, unbelievably, yeah. They're everywhere. But it's a great thing. It's a family.
They used to bring the flowers in and stack them that high. Mother's Day or Christmas or any time. They stack it this high and sell it for, say, 18 bob a dozen.
You had a few good payers, but everybody else owed you money. It was hard yakka, believe me.
City Council dressed in a dust coat, a grey dust coat, with a big brass band round their arm, a parking officer. It depends how much you paid in the pocket. That type of thing happened in those days. It doesn't happen now, of course.
We used to start about, I think it was 6 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, 7:30, the market used to nearly be finished because there wasn't that many flowers.
The old wooden boxes used to nail lids on them, and some people would put a nail in it and you'd pick the boxes up and you get nails in your hands. Then all of a sudden when we started coming here, it all changed to cardboard.
The characters I remember, Boy Lopez and Bill the Greek and Ron Bellamy and Harry Temple and Bill Vandermeer and Cesson Mal Hill, the Hills Brothers. These are the characters that I remember.
Because she used to come into the market with an apron on and red hair, and she used to sing. She loved opera.
Una bella buba che sincera. Ti amo, ti voglio bene, amore mio. Ciao, ciao.
So in 1974, Frank started growing flowers. He saw a market in putting greenhouses and produce high quality flowers which you can get better money for.
It's achieving a good quality flower. It's success. It's their marketing. It's their the growing of the flower, trying to get a perfect flower.
Yeah, I think my favourite flower would probably be the gladioli.
So it was gladioli because we were into it in a big way.
What do you think it is?
Probably gardenia.
I reckon the Waratah.
Yes, I do like bright flowers.
Maybe my favourite is the carnations.
Carnations.
Delphinium, believe it or not.
And gerbils.
I hate roses.
Spray roses.
But I think the rose is the number one.
I don't think I've really got a favourite flower.
When it comes to plants, I'd say probably cyclamen.
It's the beauty of the product, with what you're working with, the feel of it.
Now they're all go for natives.
You see one line, next year or 2 years, everybody's got it. Like a copycats.
In the end of the day, the florists have so much choice to work with. And that's what we want. We want to give them plenty of choice and create beautiful arrangements and things like that.
My name's Valentina and I was born on Valentine's Day. I love flowers, I love singing, I'm always happy every day. I love it, I love Sorrento's flowers, always make me so happy.
People weren't buying many natives, were they? Like they might have bought the gum.
In 1988 was the 200th anniversary of the bicentennial, and everybody went crazy on the gum. For 2 years, it was like it was falling out of heaven. It was unbelievable. Couldn't get enough.
I need some green from you.
Yeah, I got it. All right, see you, that's it.
Yes, well the good thing about it, the flower maker, is the flowers. It smells nice. And if something smells nice, then you spend more time in it. The more time you spend, the more you buy.
Charlie, how are you? All right, here we are again. Another day for another dollar. When you're smiling, they all will smile with you. All right, let's go, let's go. Let's do it, 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 let's do it.
When you sell a bunch of flowers, you make the people that they buy, make them happy.
Hey, look at these beautiful flowers. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it.
And because of him, then he dragged me with him. That's how we call it Bagala Brothers. We've always been very close. It makes me sad too. Well, we lasted many, many years.
Yeah.
And today we can say that we're proud that the two boys have taken over.
When the moon is so bright and you feel like we die, that's amore, that's amore. You like that?
You don't get real old in this place, you know. It's something about the market, the vibe, the atmosphere is incredible.
Yeah, I'm sort of between the old brigade and the new brigade. I'm somewhere tucked in there, yeah.
Glad to see each other. Very glad to see each other. We haven't seen each other for a while.
We're friends.
Good mate.
Good friends.
You know, we work well together in general. Yeah. You have a few little tiffs here and there, but Usually it's not too bad.
Well, I like him.
We've never had an argument, have we?
Not yet.
Otherwise we've been we had a bit of a talk. We never had any argument.
No, we didn't. No.
We did business together. You had to get on.
Well, you got to like him. You mix with him every day, just about, or every second day. You know, it's like the family. You got to like everybody in the family, despite the differences.
The next day, everything's forgotten in this place. We all have to get on together, and we do. We are we all get on very, very well.
Yes.
Yeah?
We trust each other. That is the big thing.
As far as the flower, I'm semi-retired, but I keep myself very active because that's the way. I just cannot stop doing nothing. That's my life.
My future's finished. I'm retired soon. That's it.
At my age, instead of sitting at home doing nothing, it gives me something to do.
I collect vinyl records.
I've got a friend that's a propertor, and he said as soon as he knew I'd finished in flowers, okay, you're working for me.
I collect gramophones.
We're helping the business here, but that the market has made it available for us to be able to do it has been great.
I got parts of the time. It's just the best way I could. I make a bit of gardening for the house. I like sports cars.
Oh, mate, it's nothing better than the son and the grandson and the great-grandson.
My biggest pleasure in life is when the family all turns up, the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, and we have a meal probably once a month, all of us, the whole family.
I enjoy what I do, and it keeps my head sharp and it keeps my body working.
I've got a couple of chooks there.
What I do, I play golf, go overseas.
Wash the dish all the time because
I'm a babysitter for my wife at the moment. She has had a few strokes, and I do all the cooking for the whole family.
Craig does all the work. He's the backbone of the business. He's pulled it all together. I've still got 8 acres out at Sutherland, Menai, and I used to grow a bit of gum, but that's about it.
After 50 odd years, I think it was enough.
I have to be busy because if I relax, I fall asleep. That's all, simple as that.
I'll probably still play around with this sort of thing until I kick the bucket.
You go with the fly, they call it. Something nobody can escape. Age. And come to a time, D-Day comes for everybody. Everyone goes the same way.
I love the markets. I love Australia. Australia's the best country in the world.
I'm very happy man of that.
This is your breakfast.
Oh, thanks.
Just in time. And there's your coffee.
Oh, thank you.
I love you because you understand me. Every single thing I want to do. I love you, I love you, I love everybody. And I love her.
The lady you marry, they've got to understand this is a night work. And, you know, there's been a few mishaps because they don't want to be alone.
You're there, mate?
Yeah. It's my pleasure to be very nice.
It's not the first time we shot there.
Very nice.
Yeah, why not? That's great.
Yeah, why not?
Very nice to see you after so long time.
Nice to see you,
It's a pleasure.
Tony.
be happy like me. Adios. Ciao.